There you go. Okay, I'm recorded now.
I'll start over. Well, Krystal, your resume was fantastic, and I've enjoyed hearing a little bit about yourself and some of your qualifications. But this time, I'd like to ask you some questions that I prepared just specifically for this interview. We'll start with can you tell me a time you didn't agree with a decision made by a coworker, and how did you handle it?
So a time that I had a disagreement or didn't agree with a coworker was at my old job. I used to work as at a public library, and we did a summer reading. And we had a few disagreements about how we should decorate this room for the children. One of us wanted to decorate the tables a certain way and the room a certain way. So after arguing and realizing that arguing wasn't going to get us anywhere, we kind of compromised. So we took a little bit of each other's, decoration ideas and kind of mashed them together. So it kind of worked.
Okay, awesome. Have you ever allowed, or how do you allow for different learning styles when you're teaching a subject?
So when teaching a subject, you have to follow all the different learning styles because each kid is different. So you have the visual kids, and for them, you'll have PowerPoint so that they can visually see it and so that they can better understand it by visual cues. And then for the ones that are very auditorial learning, you have to, you can lecture to them so that they can better understand their hearing. And then for the ones that are really hands on, you can do activities and little projects so that they can get in there and learn it by doing it hands on. And the ones that they have to like read it and write it, you could do book work where they have to read the book and understand it, as well as when you're lecturing, they can write notes to better understand.
Okay. Can you also tell me about a time you had to catch up on work and how did you handle that?
So, a time that I had to catch up on work was when I was behind in some schoolwork, and I just kept pushing it back, procrastinating. So, how I handled that situation was I did the stuff that was due first, or was coming up in the due date, did that first, as well as whichever one would take longer to do so I can put more focus on it and knew that that was going to be more time challenging.
Okay. In what ways would you encourage or motivate your students in the classroom?
So, ways to encourage them to do better and at least try to do the best that they can is maybe like reward them with stuff like for tests. If they do really well, like really crack down and study, you could give them a reward of, oh, we could do like a movie day, or we can have a pizza party, or, something that really encourages them to try.
I really like that approach. I do. Um, how have you handled a situation where people appeared bored or not interested in what you were talking about? And how did you handle that?
And well, when people appear bored or uninterested in what I'm saying, maybe I'm not relaying the message in ways that they can understand or in their communication style. So maybe talking better into their communication style, not necessarily like saying dumb it down for them, but just talk to them in their level of communication and understanding.
Okay. Okay. Could you describe a time where you've had to deal with an angry complaint and how did you handle that?
I've a time that I've dealt with some angry complaints was against a coworker. She was very into selling her products, her online products, and she was trying to sell it to, the customers, and they kind of got irritated because they're just trying to go in and get their books and get out. And I kind of just talked to her and I made her understand that if they're not interested, don't try to pressure them into it. If they, bring it up, then of course you can talk about it.
Yeah. Okay. Another good one for you is can you tell me about a time that you had a student that did not understand a lesson and how did you get them to understand?
So, a time that I didn't have students understand a lesson, we were talking about the difference in rock styles, like the metamorphic and igneous. So maybe in that they didn't understand the PowerPoints in the book still, so it wasn't coming to them in the way that it should. So we went outside and picked up some rocks and kind of did the hands-on so that they can actually visually see how and understand it a little bit better and grasp it.
Well, fantastic. I like the hands-on approach. Sometimes it's just better than paper and pen. Let's see. And what have you done in order to manage your time more effectively in the classroom?
Well, I whenever the assignments are the kids are turning in their assignments to grade it right that day instead of just holding off and letting it build up, as well as making sure my lesson plans are prepared and ready weeks before. So if I have to change things, it's not that big of a deal.
That's very good. That is very good. When you have a student struggling, how would you help them?
Well, if I see a student struggling, I would try to do everything I can to help them be the best that they can be by tutoring them and talking to their parents and telling them where they're struggling. So maybe at home, they can help them as well.
Okay. And have you ever had to deal with a situation where students have confided important information in you?
Well, I've never personally had to deal with that, but if that did ever happen, depending on the important information that they were telling me, I would first have to go to the principal or the superintendent, the person over, so we could discuss how we could, deal with the situation with that student.
Okay. Well, you've done a great job. You answer these questions very well. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I have a few questions. So one of my questions are, what are the goals for this school year?
Definitely the goals for the school year would be to definitely get the grades up for all the students, especially the ones taking their final end of the year test. We've done well throughout the years, but it's always best if we can do a little bit better in the school district.
Another question I have is, does your school have a lot of support from the community?
We do. We have a lot of outside organizations. We have a group of dads that comes in and reads to students. We also have a Masonic Lodge downtown that comes in and does certain programs for us. And it's really nice to have a lot of the community come in and help out, especially with them not being parents, because it sets the tone that adults actually will come in and do good things with our students.
And what type of technology do you provide for the classrooms?
Our technology varies between the grade levels. A lot of the classrooms are equipped with iPads. Some of them have projectors. But now we're trying to go to a whole new approach where we'll have TVs put up in the rooms where the teachers can actually stream their computer, watch a movie, whatever. And we're trying to get a system set up where the iPads can link up and we can share assignments from iPad to screen. So that's going to be a new technology for our elementary students.
That sounds pretty cool. This is great. What is the typical day for a teacher in your school?
The typical day is a little bit long. I won't lie. You'll get there before school starts, usually about 30 minutes, 45 minutes early, because that'd be the time where you might have some issues where parents would want to come in. Uh, they usually aren't supposed to come talk to you, but they will try. You'll have your set up meeting time where they can come meet with you, but pretty much once you hit the door running, it's going to be pretty much busy until about an hour after the day lets out. But for the most part, we have a great atmosphere, high energy. It's a very clean school, very much easy to get along with anybody here. So it makes the day go quite well when you get along with everyone. So we're kind of like a small family.
Well, that's all the questions I have, and thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you. I did have one final question though I wanted to ask you. Um, in 3 words, how could you best describe your qualifications for this position?
Well, my qualifications are I've worked at a library and dealt with children before in summer reading, as well as I've trained to go to schools and watch teachers teach. And
Okay. Well, we have 2 more candidates that we're going to bring in this week. And by the end of the week, we shall have made a decision, and we'll be informing everybody in 2 weeks about the decision we made. I prepared a package for you that you get to go home with today. And in that package is a little bit more information about the school, some of the programs we do, And you also find a card in there with my name on it. So feel free to reach out to me anytime with questions. And like I said, I enjoyed getting to meet you today, and you did quite well. And this was a very interesting interview.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.